Welcome, dear friend. Tonight, we begin a quiet journey together into the science and the practice of perfecting your sleep. Sleep is not only rest. It is the silent architect of your health, your memory, your emotions, and your energy. And yet, in our busy world, so many of us forget how to surrender to it. This video is here for you, to guide you gently through both the science that explains sleep and the calming practices that invite it back into your nightstop as you listen. Allow yourself to slow down. Let each word drift in like a tide, soft and steady, carrying you deeper into ease. You'll discover how breath, rhythm, light, and simple rituals can help you restore what your body and mind have always known. The art of resting well. If you find peace here, I invite you to join me beyond this one night. Gently press like if these words bring you calm. Share this video with someone who may also need rest, and let your thoughts or reflections flow into the comments. I truly love reading them. And if you wish to keep traveling with me through more nights like this, remember to subscribe so that together we can continue this journey into stillness, discovery, and renewal. So now, with an open heart and a quiet breath, let us begin. The story of sleep, its science, its practice, and its gift. As the sun sets, your body begins a quiet orchestration. The slow dimming of light, the cooling of skin, the gentle hum of rhythms you rarely notice. Sleep is not a sudden switch, but a river you enter, step by step. You are invited to float upon its current, learning how night prepares you for rest. In this chapter, you feel the tender unfolding of evening as the body shifts into its most natural ritual. The evening arrives not with a single moment, but with a slow unraveling. You notice the sky deepening, the edges of day softening, the warmth of sunlight giving way to cooler tones. Your body, whether you pay attention or not, is listening. It has listened since the first humans gazed up at twilight, and even long before that, long before cities and screens, before clocks and calendars. Your biology has leaned into this rhythm of descent. Sleep does not begin when you close your eyes. It begins here in the gentle fall of night. The body anticipates it, prepares for it, and slowly guides you into it, one breath at a time. Like an orchestra tuning before a concert, your systems adjust their instruments. Hormones rise and fall. Nerves quiet in their chatter. Muscles loosen their hold. You may feel it as a heaviness in your limbs, as a softening of thoughts, or as a strange pull toward stillness. This is not a weakness. It is wisdom, your biology, whispering, it is time to turn inward. Imagine yourself walking by a river at dusk. The water moves slowly, calmly, but with a steady direction. You know that if you step into it, you will be carried downstream. Sleep is that river. You cannot command it, but you can choose whether to step gently into its current or stand at its edge, resisting. The descent into night is your invitation. Science tells us that this transition is governed by a delicate balance of rhythms, circadian rhythms, ultradian rhythms, even the tiny fluctuations of temperature and hormones that rise and fall across the day. The word circadian comes from Latin, circadian, meaning around a day. These rhythms do not follow the clock on your wall. They follow the ancient clock within your cells. This inner clock ticks with light, with food, with movement, with temperature. And most of all, it ticks with the coming of night. As darkness deepens, your body cools. Not dramatically, but just enough. Your core temperature drifts downward by about 1 degree Celsius. This gentle cooling is like the lowering of stage lights before a performance, a signal to your brain that it is time for a new act. You may not feel it consciously, but the cooling is there. Your skin may flush a little, your hands and feet releasing warmth to the air. This process is called vasodilation, your blood vessels widening, letting heat escape so your body can drift. lower into its night rhythm. Why cooling? Because deep sleep, the kind that restores memory, repairs cells, balances emotions, thrives in a slightly cooler state. Your body knows this. It has always known this, long before humans discovered air conditioning or weighted blankets. Our ancestors learned to rest in caves, under stars. On Earth that held the night's chill dot at the same time, your heart rate slows. Your breathing deepens, sometimes without you noticing. These are not just signs of tiredness. They are signs of surrender. They are your body saying, we are safe enough to release. The descent into night is not simply physical. It is mental too. Your mind, busy during the day, begins to untangle itself. Thoughts lose their sharpness. Memories blur at the edges. You may find yourself daydreaming, drifting, your inner voice quieter than usual. This is no accident. In the evening, your brain begins to alter its chemistry. Neurotransmitters, the messengers between your neurons, shift their balance. The stimulating ones, like norepinephrine, step back, while calming ones, like gamma-aminobutyric acid, often called GABA, step forward. GABA is the hush in the room, the gentle reminder that the chatter can pause. Now, in this quieting, something remarkable happens. Your attention broadens. During the day, you focus sharply on tasks, on words, on problems. At night, that focus softens. You are no longer looking at the details of leaves. You are gazing at the whole forest. This shift, though subtle, prepares you for dreaming, where logic loosens and imagination flows. Yet modern life often resists this descent. The glow of screens, the hum of artificial light, the push of unfinished tasks. All these can keep you standing at the riverbank, unwilling to step in. Your body waits for darkness, but your room stays bright. Your brain waits for silence, but your phone sings with notifications. You may find yourself restless, tired yet alert, a contradiction that feels almost cruel. But even in this, your biology is patient. The descent into night is forgiving. I will try again tomorrow. And each evening, you are offered the same invitation. Will you dim the lights? Will you breathe more slowly? Will you let your body listen? Think of this moment as tending a fire. All day, your body burns energy brightly, flames high and hot. As night comes, you do not blow the fire out in one motion. You let the flames lower, the embers glow, the warmth settles. Sleep arrives not as an extinguishing, but as a transformation, from flame to ember, from motion to stillness, from day into night. As you lie in bed, you may notice your eyelids grow heavy. This heaviness is not just fatigue, it is a physical shift. Tiny muscles around your eyes relax, your blinking slows, and the weight of gravity feels stronger. At the same time, your body begins releasing melatonin, not in great floods, but in quiet drops, like water dripping steadily into a stream. Melatonin does not make you sleep. Instead, it marks the timing, reminding your body that the world outside has darkened, and you may safely rest. The descent into night is, in a way, a return to the womb of nature. For all living things, from birds to insects to trees, evening signals rest. Flowers close their petals. Birds nestle into branches. Even the smallest cells shift into repair mode. You, too, are part of this choreography. Sometimes you may resist it. You may think, I must stay awake, I must finish, I must keep going. But underneath that thought, your body whispers otherwise. Each yawn, each blink, each sigh is your body's way of urging you to follow the rhythm older than any deadline. Notice how evening brings not only sleepiness, but also reflection. Many people feel more contemplative at night, more drawn to memory, to gratitude, to longing. This is because as the stimulating hormones fade, your brain turns inward toward integration. It is not only your body preparing for rest, It is your spirit too. If you allow yourself to follow this descent, you will find that sleep does not arrive as a stranger, but as a familiar friend. It wraps you not with force, but with embrace. It is less like falling and more like being carried out, and as you rest in this gentle unfolding, you realize that the descent into night is not just preparation for sleep. It is sleep itself, beginning. Quietly, long before you dream, you stand at the edge of this river each night. Some nights you step in willingly, floating with ease. Some nights you linger, hesitant, caught in the noise of modern light. But always, the current waits. It is patient. It is steady. It is ancient. The gentle descent into night is your inheritance, your gift, your natural state. To honor it is to honor yourself. To resist it is only to delay what your body already knows. And so, as you listen to the quiet hum of rhythms, the slowing heart, the cooling skin, the dimming thoughts, you begin to sense something deeper. That this journey into night is guided by something more than willpower. It is guided by light, by darkness, by the signals of the world around you. A question lingers in the air, soft but insistent. If night prepares you through shadow and coolness, how does light itself, in all its power, shape when you wake, when you sleep, when you dream? Your eyes speak directly to your brain, translating light into signals that guide your body clock. Morning sunlight awakens, evening darkness softens, and in between, your cells learn when to rest and when to rise. In light's quiet conversation with your biology, you discover the secret timing of deep rest. It is here, in this dialogue between brightness and shadow, that your rhythms of sleep are born. You live in a world where light is more than sight. It is not just what allows you to see the colors of a sunrise, the faces of people you love, or the glow of the moon. Light is language. It speaks directly to your biology, weaving instructions into every cell of your body. It tells you when to wake, when to eat, when to feel alert, and when to rest. Each morning, when light first touches your eyes, it is like the striking of a great cosmic bell. Hidden deep behind your forehead sits the suprachiasmatic nucleus, the tiny master clock of your brain. It is no larger than a grain of rice, yet it governs the rhythm of your entire body. This master clock listens not to your wristwatch or phone, but to the rising and falling of light. Imagine the sunlight as a soft conductor raising its hand at dawn. At the first note, your clock begins to sing. Hormones that keep you alert begin to flow. Cortisol rises in the bloodstream, not as a stress signal, but as an awakening one, giving you energy to meet the day. Your temperature begins to climb, preparing muscles, organs, and even thoughts for the tasks ahead. Without light, this orchestra falls out of tune. You would still have rhythms, for your body holds an ancient cycle of about 24 hours and 11 minutes. But without the anchor of light, that cycle drifts. You would slowly lose track of the world's day and night, waking later and later, feeling unmoored. Light is the hand that steadies the compass, keeping you aligned with the planet you walk upon. Not all light speaks the same words to your biology. Morning light, rich in blue wavelengths, is like a trumpet, clear, sharp, awakening. It floods into the specialized cells of your retina, cells that do not help you see pictures, but instead measure brightness. These cells send direct messages to your brain clock saying the day has begun. Prepare to rise. Evening light speaks a different language. As the sun lowers, the blue fades, and the warmer tones, orange, red, soft gold, bathe the world. These colors signal your biology to begin its descent. The orchestra of wakefulness slows its tempo, and another music begins, the slow hum of night preparation. Darkness, too, is not emptiness, but communication. When darkness falls, the pineal gland, a small structure deep in your brain, begins to release melatonin. Melatonin is not a hammer that forces you to sleep, but a whisper telling your body it is time to prepare. Darkness is the ink in which this message is written. And yet, in modern life, darkness is rare. The city glows with street lamps, houses shimmer with artificial bulbs, screens radiate with blue light deep into the night. Your body, patient but confused, reads these signals as if the sun has never set. Your inner clock waits and waits, unable to find the rhythm it expects. Sleep becomes shallow, delayed, or restless. Think of your body clock as a sundial, one that measures time by the shadows it receives. If the light is steady and honest, sunrise, day, sunset, night, the sundial points true. But if the light is constant, shifting, or deceptive, the sundial falters. Your sleep, in turn, falters with it. This is why the simplest act, stepping outside in the morning, feeling the first sunlight on your skin, letting it touch your eyes, is among the most powerful medicines for sleep. It is free, quiet, ancient, and profound. Just 2 to 10 minutes of morning light can reset your entire system, aligning you not with the clock on your wall, but with the turning of the earth itself. Picture yourself walking outside at dawn. The air is cool, the sky painted with soft hues. As the light meets your eyes, your master clock receives its message. The day has started. Your biology begins its countdown. 12 to 14 hours later, it will expect sleep. You have written the first note of a song that will end in rest. Throughout the day, the quality of light continues to shape you. Bright, natural light keeps you alert and lifts your mood. Dim, indoor light can leave you sluggish, like a plant kept away from the sun. Your very cells, in ways you cannot always feel, are attuned to these signals. When evening arrives, you can honor this rhythm by dimming your own environment. Lower the lights. Allow shadows to lengthen. Step away from screens that beam artificial daylight into your eyes. In doing so, you are not merely turning off devices. You are teaching your body the ancient truth it has always known. Night has come. The contrast between light and darkness is what gives sleep its power. Just as a painting needs shadow to give depth to its colors, your body needs darkness to deepen its rest. Too much light at night is like leaving all the instruments of the orchestra playing, even after the conductor has stepped away. The music of sleep never fully begins in the language of science. This balance is called entrainment, the process by which your internal rhythms are set by external cues, the strongest cue being light. Entrainment means your body is not drifting aimlessly, but is guided, harmonized with the cycle of the planet. But entrainment is not just biological, it is poetic. You, a human being, are linked through light and shadow to the turning of the earth, to the same rhythm that guides the opening of flowers and the migration of birds. To align with this rhythm is to remember you are part of nature's chorus, not separate from it. Consider how you feel when you camp beneath stars, far from city lights. The sun sets, darkness thickens, and without effort, your eyes grow heavy. Earlier than usual, you wake with dawn, refreshed, almost surprised by the ease of it. This is the natural conversation of light and darkness, uninterrupted. It is not something you create, but something you return to. You may not always escape the artificial glow of modern life, but you can choose small rituals. Morning light as your first encounter. Dimmed lamps as evening settles. Screens lowered. Before bed, replaced by softer glows. Candles, warm bulbs, or the quiet darkness itself. Each act is a way of speaking back to your biology, saying, I hear the language of light, and I will honor it. When you allow yourself to live in dialogue with light and darkness, sleep becomes less of a battle and more of a rhythm. Your body no longer resists because it is no longer confused. You have restored the ancient grammar of day and night, and in that rhythm, something deeper happens. You do not simply sleep, you heal. Your cells repair, your memory strengthens, your mood lifts. Sleep becomes not only a biological necessity, but a sacred practice, one that begins each morning with light and concludes each evening with darkness. So tonight, as you turn down your lights and close your eyes, you might imagine the quiet dialogue of the day. Morning light, bright and awakening. Evening light, soft and forgiving. Night's darkness, rich and silent. Each has spoken to you, each has shaped you, each has guided you into rest. But as you drift, a question lingers. If light and darkness prepare you for rest, what quiet messenger within carries their signal into the very chemistry of your body? Within the pinnacle-shaped pineal gland, melatonin begins its nightly drip, a whisper, not a command. You feel it as heaviness in your eyelids, as softness in your thoughts. To understand melatonin is to learn the lullaby nature sings, one molecule at a time. It is the signal that evening has deepened, guiding you toward rest without force. Only invitation.sleep is not a sudden plunge into darkness. It is a series of quiet invitations, a steady unfolding, a rhythm carried by signals that flow through your body. Among these signals, there is one that feels more like a whisper than a command. Its name is melatonin. You may already know the word, a supplement on a pharmacy shelf, a term tossed around in late-night conversations about rest. But melatonin is not just a pill or a product. It is a story your body tells itself each night, a story written in the chemistry of your brain, in the dialogue between light and shadow. Deep within your head, between the two halves of your brain, rests a tiny gland shaped like a pinnacone. For centuries, this pineal gland carried mystery. Ancient philosophers called it the seat of the soul, a hidden eye that looked inward. Modern science reveals its practical truth. This small structure is your body's night scribe. When darkness falls, it begins to drip melatonin into your bloodstream, one slow drop at a time. Melatonin does not make you sleep. That is the first truth to remember. It does not push you into unconsciousness or silence your thoughts like a drug might. Instead, it lowers the lights in the theater of your body, signaling that the performance of the day is ending. Imagine the pineal gland as a stagehand, dimming the lanterns one by one, drawing the curtain halfway, whispering to the actors. Soon, it will be time to rest. As evening deepens, melatonin rises in your blood. You may feel it as the heaviness in your eyelids, as the slowing of your inner dialogue, as the strange distance between you and the brightness of the day. This is why people often describe winding down at night. It is not just a choice. It is chemistry, soft and steady. Science explains it in terms of light. Special cells in your eyes, the same ones that spoke to your master clock in the last chapter, also speak to your pineal gland. When daylight strikes your retina, those cells send signals to the brain that say, "Not yet, it is still day." When darkness finally falls, those signals cease. In that silence, the pineal gland begins its gentle work. You can think of melatonin as a tide. In the evening, it rises, reaching its peak in the middle of the night. As dawn approaches, it recedes. The rise tells your body it is time to prepare for sleep. The fall tells your body morning has come, begin to wake. It is not the wave itself that carries you into slumber, but the rhythm of its movement that prepares you to drift. If you step outside in the evening, away from bright lamps and screens, you can almost feel this tide. The coolness of the air, the deepening of shadow, the slowing of the world, all align with the chemistry inside you. Your biology is listening to the same cues as the earth itself, yet modern life complicates this harmony. Artificial light, especially the blue glow of phones and computers, sends mixed signals. The pineal gland, confused, delays its release of melatonin. Midnight may arrive, but your body still thinks it is late afternoon. This is why screens at night can feel so disruptive. They are not simply keeping your eyes busy, They are shifting the chemical tide of your entire system. And so, one of the simplest acts of care is to honor darkness, to dim the lights in your home, to put away the glowing rectangles, to let your eyes rest in shadow. In doing so, you are not merely practicing discipline. You are allowing your pineal gland to speak its language, to whisper its nightly song without interruption. What does melatonin do once it flows? Its effects are subtle but profound. It lowers your core temperature slightly, nudging your body toward the cooler state that supports deep rest. It interacts with receptors in your brain, making neurons less excitable, like dimming a room where conversation grows softer. It influences the timing of your other hormones, aligning growth, repair, and digestion with the rhythm of night. Melatonin also teaches your body to expect consistency. When it rises at the same time each night, your system learns reliability. You begin to feel sleepiness, not by accident, but by rhythm. This is why traveling across time zones feels so disorienting. Jet lag is not just fatigue. It is your melatonin, tide crashing out of sync, still tuned to the light and dark of the place you left behind. Over time, your body readjusts, but slowly. It must learn the new rhythm of light, must retrain the pineal gland to whisper at the right hours. Morning light hastens the adjustment, anchoring the master clock, while evening darkness supports the melatonin rise. In this way, you can help your body return to balance simply by paying attention to the language of light and the timing of its chemical echoes. Some people take melatonin supplements, hoping to harness its power directly. These can help, especially for shifting time zones or aligning with unusual schedules. But it is worth remembering, melatonin is not a sleeping pill. It is a timing signal, not a sedative. Too much can confuse the system, blurring the clarity of its whisper. Nature designed melatonin not as a flood, but as a trickle, just enough to remind, never enough to overwhelm. Children produce more melatonin than adults, which is why they often fall asleep so easily, as if the night itself lifts them into dreams. As we age, melatonin declines, and sleep can feel more fragile. Yet even then, the body responds to care, to light in the morning, to darkness in the evening, to gentle rhythms that tell the pineal gland when to speak. To think of melatonin is to think of trust. Your body trusts that the sun will set, that the world will darken, that the rhythm will continue. It waits patiently for the signal. And each night, when you allow that signal to rise, you are trusting too, trusting the ancient wisdom of your biology, trusting the gentle chemistry that has guided life for millennia. As you lie here now, you may imagine the pineal gland like a lantern keeper in a high tower. All day, the lantern stays unlit, waiting. As evening comes, the keeper strikes a flame, not bright, but steady, casting a soft glow that guides you home. That lantern is melatonin. It does not blind you. It does not command you. It simply shows the path to rest. This path winds not only through chemistry, but through sensation. The slowing of thoughts, the heaviness of eyes, the release of the day's tight grip. Each is a note in the lullaby, each carried by the tide of melatonin. If you listen closely, you can almost hear it, not as a sound, but as a feeling, a softness pressing gently at the edges of your awareness. And as you surrender to that softness, you realize that melatonin is more than a hormone. It is a bridge between the outer world and the inner. It translates light and shadow into chemistry, then chemistry into sensation, then sensation into the quiet pull of sleep. It is the bridge between cosmos and consciousness, between sunset and dream. Still, melatonin is not the whole story. It is the opening of the door, not the journey itself. Once the tide has risen, once the lantern has been lit, something else must carry you deeper, into the cooling of the body, into the warmth of dreams, into the vast waves of the sleeping brain. Your body temperature falls As night deepens, skin cooler, core lower. Like a bear finding its cave, you rest more deeply in cooler air. Beneath that cooling lies the spark of dreams, where warmth shifts from body to imagination. When night settles over you, something quiet begins within. Your body, without your conscious instruction, starts to cool. Not sharply, not suddenly, but in a slow and steady descent, like a river slipping gently downhill, finding its way toward the sea. This is not merely a background detail. It is a central rhythm, a nightly ritual. Your body temperature, though often unnoticed, becomes the guide that leads you into deeper and safer rest. You may not feel it at first. Your skin still carries the warmth of the day, and the rooms around you still echo with its energy. But as the minutes pass, your inner systems, deep in your core, begin their quiet orchestration. Blood vessels near the surface of your skin widen, a process called vasodilation. It is as if invisible gates open, allowing heat to drift outward and leave you. Your skin grows slightly warmer while your core grows slightly cooler. Imagine holding a small glowing ember. At first, it burns brightly in the center of your hand. Then, as you open your fingers, the heat spreads outward into the air. The ember cools, not extinguished, but softened. This is your body each night, a gentle spreading and releasing of heat, allowing your core to lower its temperature by about 1 degree Celsius. Though small in number, this shift is monumental in effect. Cooling is not a luxury, it is a doorway. Your brain depends on it. Studies show that sleep onset, that fragile bridge from waking into slumber, is closely tied to this fall in core temperature. The cooling tells your nervous system, now is the time to rest. It whispers, let go. Without it, sleep struggles to arrive, like a visitor left waiting at a locked gate. You may have noticed this truth in your own life. On hot summer nights, when the air hangs heavy and thick, sleep often feels elusive. You toss, you turn, your body restless. The reason is not a mystery. It is thermoregulation, the body's inability to shed enough heat to reach the coolness it craves. That is why a simple fan or the touch of cool sheets can feel miraculous. They help you bridge the gap, helping your body perform the quiet, lowering that nature asks of it. The skin, in this process, is more than the surface. It becomes a radiant map of temperature. Warm hands, warm feet. These are signs of cooling within. You might not link warm extremities with falling asleep, but they are intertwined. When your hands and feet are warm, blood vessels are open. Heat is escaping, and your core is lowering. In fact, research shows that those who can warm their feet before bed with socks or a warm bath that later allows rapid cooling often fall asleep faster. This is one of sleep's paradoxes. Sometimes you must warm the outer edges to cool. The inner heart, the warmth opens the gates. The gates release the heat. The heat leaves the core. The cooling allows the mind to descend. Now imagine the night as a mountain slope. At the top, in late afternoon, your body is warm, carrying the heat of activity. As evening unfolds, you begin to walk down, step by step. This slope is gradual, not steep. By late evening, you are halfway, air cooler, pace slower. By the time you lie in bed, you reach the valley, where the air feels still and the body feels safe. In this valley, sleep finds you. Cooling not only invites sleep, it deepens it. Slow wave sleep, the most restorative phase, thrives in cooler conditions. In these stages, your brain waves slow, your muscles release, your immune system strengthens. Growth hormone, crucial for repair, rises. All of it is woven into the cooling. Without the drop in temperature, slow wave sleep struggles to anchor. But cooling is not the whole story. There is another paradox within it. As your body cools, your brain finds warmth, not in temperature, but in dreams. Dreams require a strange balance. In rapid eye movement or REM sleep, your body temperature regulation temporarily pauses. Unlike other states, you are less able to sweat or shiver. You drift into a fragile suspension, almost vulnerable, but beautifully so. It is as if nature says, for dreaming, we must set aside control. We must allow the inner stage to glow untethered. Think of it like a theater. The lights in the house dim, the air cools, the crowd grows silent. Then, on the stage, a single spotlight burns warm and bright. Dreams rise under this spotlight, narratives stitched from memory, imagination, and emotion. They need the cool quiet of the theater, but they glow with warmth inside. Perhaps you have felt this shift, waking from a dream with a sense of vividness, even warmth, as if the story itself carried heat. Science shows that REM sleep is linked to the regulation of emotion, to the softening of fear, to the weaving of memory. It is as though your brain, cooled in body, warms itself in meaning. Cooling also connects to circadian rhythms, the body's 24-hour clock. This rhythm, orchestrated by the suprachiasmatic nucleus in your brain, times the rise and fall of temperature with remarkable precision. Your core is highest in late afternoon when alertness peaks, and lowest around 4 or 5 in the morning when you are deepest in sleep. This nightly cycle is as consistent as the tides. You are, in essence, a tide of heat and cool, rising and falling with the turning of the earth dot. What is remarkable is how external conditions mirror this internal cycle. The natural world cools at night, air temperatures dropping with the absence of sunlight. For much of human history, before climate control and artificial light, our bodies moved in near-perfect harmony with these patterns. Night cooled, bodies cooled, dreams warmed. The cycle felt seamless. Today, with heated rooms and glowing screens, the cycle can falter. Artificial warmth can hold the body too high. Blue light can trick the brain into thinking it is still day, delaying the cooling that should begin. This is why sleep experts often recommend lowering the thermostat at night or dimming lights before bed. By shaping your environment to mirror what nature intended, you invite your physiology to follow. A simple ritual can help. A warm bath, as mentioned, raises skin temperature. Then, upon leaving the bath, heat rapidly leaves through dilated vessels, lowering your core more quickly. You feel the drowsy heaviness that follows, not only from relaxation, but from this precise thermoregulation. In that gentle drop, your body finds the signal to let go. Layer by layer, the science returns to simplicity. To sleep well, you must cool. To cool, you must allow heat to leave. To allow heat to leave, you must open your body's gates through warm feet, through cool air, through the rhythm of night. And yet, within this cooling, warmth is not lost. It is redirected. The warmth you shed physically becomes warmth you gather internally, in dreams, in restoration, in renewal. Just as a candle burns lower, but casts gentler light, your body cools, but your mind glows. You may imagine yourself as a winter tree. On the outside, branches bare, bark chilled. On the inside, sap flows slowly, roots hold quiet strength. The tree rests, waiting for spring. So do you. Cooling is not emptiness. It is potential, folded inward. And in this folding inward lies something deeply protective. The lowered body temperature not only initiates sleep, it shields it. If you awaken in the night, rising temperature may make it harder to return to slumber. But in a cool room, the body is more likely to remain anchored, less likely to drift into wakefulness. Think again of the bear in its cave. The cool air outside, the slowed heart within, the long rhythm of hibernation. While you are not hibernating, the metaphor still holds. To enter sleep deeply is to allow the body to become bear-like, conserving, cooling, waiting. You too are part of this ancient lineage of rest, shaped by the cooling earth, held by the rhythm of temperature dot as your body cools tonight. You may notice the way your breath matches the process. Inhale, cool air enters. Exhale, warmth leaves. Breathing itself becomes an act of thermoregulation, a small echo of the larger cycle. Your lungs, like your skin, join in the orchestration. Cooling, then, is not isolation but connection. It connects your body to the planet, your cells to the sky, your breath to the air around you. You cool because the night cools. The night cools because the sun has set, and the sun sets because the earth turns. Each link, part of the same chain dot, and as your body cools, your imagination warms, your dreams open, your night deepens. Sleep becomes not just a biological state, but a journey, from warmth to coolness, from day to night, from waking thought to dreaming story. The cycle continues until morning. Slowly, as dawn approaches, your core begins to rise again, preparing you to wake. Just as cooling brought you to sleep, warming will bring you back to life. Morning light, morning heat, morning energy, each one a counterbalance. But now, you remain in the cooling phase, drifting further inward. You are held by the cave, by the valley, by the night air that steadies you. Cooling is not an ending, but a preparation for dreams, for restoration, for tomorrow's light. And so, as your body cools, you step closer to another wonder, the stage upon which your dreams unfold, where the mind rehearses, prepares, and imagines. For cooling prepares the ground, but dreams themselves are the fire that follows, a fire not of heat, but of story. Inside your skull, sleep unfolds in stages, light ripples, deeper plunges, and dream-rich REM. These brain waves rise and fall like tides upon a midnight shore. To drift with them is to learn how your brain repairs, remembers, and restores. You with every cycle. And so, you float on unseen rhythms, carried gently through the night. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the sea at night. The moon casts its pale light across the waves. The water moves with a rhythm that is both ancient and unhurried, drawing you in with its endless repetition. Now, imagine that the sea is not out there, but inside you, within the space of your skull, within the quiet hum of your brain. When you fall asleep, your brain is not silent. It is an ocean of electricity, waves rising and falling, tides shifting from shallow to deep, carrying you further into rest. These are the brain waves of sleep, invisible currents that hold you, guide you, restore you. Sleep does not arrive in a single step. It comes in stages, like a gentle descent into deeper waters. At first, you hover on the surface, half awake, half dreaming. This is light sleep. Then slowly, you are pulled into deeper layers, where your body becomes heavy, your breath steady, and your mind silent. In those depths, healing and repair begin. Yet sleep is not all stillness. At certain times, the ocean stirs again. Waves quicken, and your eyes dart beneath closed lids. This is REM sleep, the stage where dreams take their vivid form. Night after night, your brain cycles through these stages, light sleep, deep sleep, REM sleep, as if following the rhythm of tides that rise and fall without end. Scientists call these cycles ultradian rhythms, patterns within the larger circadian rhythm of day and night. Each cycle lasts about 90 minutes, like a tide that pulls in and out. You move from light sleep to deep sleep to REM, and then back again, usually 4 to 6 times each night. And within these cycles, your brain waves shift shape, like waves of different sizes rolling across the same shore dot. In the earliest stage of sleep, your brain produces theta waves. They are slower than the busy, fast-paced beta waves of wakefulness. Theta waves are like gentle ripples at the shoreline, shallow, inviting. In this stage, your body begins to relax. Your muscles loosen, your heartbeat slows, your breathing softens. You may feel yourself drifting, slipping in and out of awareness. Sometimes you jolt awake, a sensation scientists call a hypnic jerk, like a sudden splash in the shallow water. This stage is brief, but it marks the beginning of your descent. As you move deeper, you enter stage 2 sleep. Here, theta waves continue, but they are joined by bursts of faster activity called sleep spindles and sudden drops known as K complexes. Imagine them as the patterns of waves that sometimes ripple quickly, sometimes pause into stillness. Sleep spindles are thought to protect your slumber, shielding your brain from outside noise, like a curtain drawn across a window. They also play a role in memory, helping to file away the day's experiences. K complexes are like the anchors, grounding you, ensuring you do not wake too easily. Already, even in this light sleep, your brain is working, filtering, sorting, protecting. Then comes deep sleep, also known as slow wave sleep. Here, the waves become large and slow, like the heavy swells of the ocean far from shore. Scientists call them delta waves. They move at less than 4 cycles per second, rolling with immense, unhurried power. In this stage, your body sinks into its deepest restoration. Growth hormone is released, repairing muscles and tissues. Your immune system strengthens, building defenses for the day ahead. Your brain clears waste, flushing out toxins through the glymphatic system, a hidden river that flows more freely during sleep, rinsing your mind clean. Delta waves are the lullaby of your body's repair, rocking you in the slowest rhythm of all. But sleep does not remain in this depth. After a time, you rise again, moving toward a different shore. Your brain stirs, activity quickens, though your body remains still. Then your eyes begin to move beneath their lids, darting left and right as if watching something unseen. This is REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep. Here, brain waves resemble wakefulness, fast and irregular, like the choppy surface of water under a shifting wind. But your muscles are paralyzed, a safeguard that keeps you from acting out your dreams. And dreams do come, vivid and strange. Some are fragments of memory, others are wild creations. In REM sleep, your brain weaves stories, connects ideas, explores possibilities. Scientists believe this stage is crucial for creativity, problem solving, and emotional healing. It is the warm firelight after the cold depths, the spark of imagination glowing in the night. This rhythm, light sleep, deep sleep, REM repeats itself throughout the night. Early cycles contain more deep sleep, anchoring you in restoration. Later cycles bring longer periods of REM, painting the night with dreams. Like the ocean's tides, the balance shifts as the night unfolds. And with each cycle, your body and mind are renewed in different ways. Deep sleep heals the body. REM restores the mind. One gives you strength, the other gives you meaning. Together, they complete the circle of rest. To imagine these brain waves more clearly, think of a symphony. Each stage of sleep is a movement, each wave a note. Theta waves begin the prelude, soft, gentle strings. Sleep spindles add quick flutters, like the sound of woodwinds. Delta waves enter like the deep hum of cellos, slow and steady, carrying the weight of the piece. And suddenly, the tempo rises. REM bursts in with lively violins, fast and unpredictable. Yet the symphony does not end there. It returns again and again, cycling through its movements, each time with subtle variation. By morning, the music is played through 4 or 5 full cycles, leaving you restored, refreshed, and ready. Your awareness of these waves is subtle. You do not feel delta waves washing over you, nor do you sense sleep spindles flickering in. your brain. Yet you may feel their effects. After a night of deep sleep, you wake with a sense of strength, your body renewed. After a night rich in REM, you may wake with fresh insights, a problem solved, or emotions soothed. Your dreams may linger like mist or vanish entirely, yet the work of those waves remains within you. Science reminds us that sleep is not passive. It is an active process, a nightly labor of the brain and body. The waves of sleep are not just symbols, they are patterns of electrical activity measured by electrodes in sleep laboratories. Scientists can watch them dance across screens, tracing the shift from light sleep to deep sleep to REM. Each wave tells a story of neurons firing together, of networks resting and resetting, of memories being shaped. Yet even with all this knowledge, sleep retains its mystery. Why do we dream such strange dreams? Why does deep sleep feel so profoundly restorative? The waves reveal much, but not all. There is always more to discover, just as the ocean always holds depths unseen. As you listen now, perhaps you notice your own rhythm softening, your breath steady, your body sinking. You may feel as though you too are being carried by waves, rocking gently, supported by something larger than yourself. In truth, you are. Your brain is alive with these patterns, guiding you through the night, holding you in their unseen currents. Each wave, each stage, is part of a larger design that has shaped life for millions of years. To sleep is to join this design, to surrender to the wisdom written into your biology. And so, the night continues. Waves rise and fall, cycles repeat, dreams appear and vanish. You are carried, restored, renewed. And yet, there is another layer to this story. For these waves are not only patterns of the brain, they are connected to your memories, your emotions, your very sense of self. The sleeping brain does not simply rest. It works. It files, it heals, it creates. What does it mean, then, that you spend a third of your life in this state? What does it mean that so much of who you are is shaped not while awake, but while drifting in these waves? Perhaps the next step in our journey is to dive deeper into memory itself, to see how the sleeping brain gathers the fragments of your day and shapes them into the story of your life. Sleep is not one block, but a cathedral of repeating cycles, each stage a chamber with a purpose. Slow wave sleep rebuilds, REM paints with memory and emotion. Like arches and corridors, these cycles repeat through the night, carrying you deeper into quiet renewal. By understanding this architecture, you see why missing one cycle can shift your entire day. When you close your eyes, it feels as though the night ahead is one continuous stretch, a single, long descent into silence. Yet beneath the surface, sleep is not a straight line. It is more like entering a cathedral, where each chamber has its own light, its own echo, its own sacred role. You move not once, but many times through these chambers, walking their circular paths as the hours pass. This is the architecture. Rest, cycles repeating, arches rising, doors opening and closing in slow rhythm, until the first light of morning calls you back. Single cycle of sleep lasts about 90 minutes. It is a journey that repeats 4 to 6 times across the night. Within each cycle, you move through stages, from the shallow edge of slumber into its deep core, and back toward the surface again. These stages are not random. They are carefully arranged, like pillars holding the weight of a vast roof, each one necessary for the structure to remain sound. Without them, the night collapses into fragments, and you wake unsteady, as if the foundation of your rest has cracked. The first stage, often called light sleep, is like standing on the threshold of the cathedral. Your eyes are closed, yet sounds and touches still brush against your awareness. In this moment, your brain waves slow, but only slightly. You drift in and out, as though rocking at the edge of wakefulness. Muscles may twitch, as if your body is testing whether it can finally surrender. This stage does not last long, but it is a gentle bridge between day and night. A moment of transition that lets you loosen your grip on the waking world that soon. You slip into stage 2, a deeper chamber. Here, your heartbeat slows, your temperature drops, and your awareness of the outside world begins to fade. In this stage, the brain shows sudden bursts of electrical activity, sleep spindles, like sparks in the dark. These spindles help shield your sleep from disturbance. They are guardians of silence, ensuring that passing sounds, a door creak, or a shifting blanket do not easily pull you back to wakefulness. Alongside them are K complexes, sharp waves of activity that act like keepers of stability, anchoring you in slumber while still allowing your brain to monitor the environment for true danger. This is the stage where most of your night will be spent, a quiet hallway where protection and preservation take place. As the cycle deepens, you arrive at slow wave sleep, also known as deep sleep. If the architecture of the night is a cathedral, this is its grand central hall. Your brain waves become long and slow, rolling like deep ocean swells. It is during this stage that your body repairs itself most fully. Tissues grow, muscles recover, and the immune system strengthens. Growth hormone is released, knitting together the wear and tear of the day. It is here that your energy reserves are replenished, as though the candles of your being are dipped again in wax and lit anew. To be woken from this stage is to feel heavy, disoriented, as though torn from the innermost sanctuary before you are ready to leave. And then comes the stage that feels unlike the rest: rapid eye movement sleep, or REM. If deep sleep is the cathedral's stone foundation, REM is its stained glass, colorful, shifting, alive with imagery. Your eyes dart beneath closed lids, chasing visions that play like films across the theater of your mind. This is the stage of dreams, where memory, emotion, and imagination are woven together. Scientists believe that REM consolidates learning, binding facts to feelings, stitching experiences into meaning. It is also the stage most closely tied to creativity, where the brain makes connections it would not make in the sharp light of day. The body, meanwhile, is almost completely paralyzed, as though to protect you from acting out your dreams. Only your breathing and your eyes move freely, like wind stirring the glass. One cycle completes: light sleep, deeper sleep, slow wave, REM, and then another begins. You climb and descend these stairs through the night, circling the cathedral. Not once, but many times. In the first half of the night, deep sleep dominates, giving your body the restoration it most urgently needs. In the second half, REM grows longer, giving space for dreams to expand. It is as though the architecture shifts focus, first repairing the body, then nourishing the mind. Both are needed, and both together form the symmetry of rest. Imagine skipping a cycle, or cutting the cathedral's journey short. If you wake too early, you rob yourself of REM, and the mind feels fogged, less able to regulate mood or sharpen memory. If you go to bed too late, you cut away deep sleep, and the body feels weary, less able to heal and resist illness. Each stage is a stone, and when one is missing, the whole building trembles. You may stand, but you will not stand strong. Yet the architecture is forgiving too. When you are deprived of deep sleep, the body often prioritizes it the next night, pulling you more swiftly into slow waves. When REM is lost, the brain often lengthens it the following evening. This compensation shows how deeply the cycles matter, how firmly evolution has guarded them. Across millions of years, from early mammals to you lying in bed tonight, these rhythms have been carved into biology like rivers into stone. The cathedral of sleep is not only personal, but universal. Every human in every culture drifts through these cycles. A child's cycles are shorter and filled with abundant REM. nourishing a mind that is learning the world breathtaking speed. An elder's cycles may grow lighter with less deep sleep, yet the rhythm continues, carrying them gently across the night. Even animals follow their own architecture of rest. Cats plunging quickly into REM, dolphins sleeping with half a brain at a time, birds entering microsleeps as they glide. Everywhere you look in nature, sleep appears not as luxury, but as structure, as design. When you begin to see sleep in this way, you understand why a nap feels different from a full night's rest. A nap of 20 minutes may only touch the lighter stages, refreshing but incomplete. A longer nap of 90 minutes allows a full cycle, carrying you through the cathedral once, giving both body and mind a taste of renewal. But only the long stretch of night, with its repeating circuits, provides the architecture in full repair, dream, memory, emotion, all layered together into the masterpiece of rest. This architecture also explains why routine matters. When you sleep at irregular times, your cycles may fragment, like walking through a cathedral where doors open into broken staircases. But when you keep a rhythm, sleeping and waking at consistent hours, the structure grows strong and the journey flows more smoothly. You become not only rested but aligned, your nights building a steady foundation beneath your days. Science continues to explore this architecture, uncovering more detail with each passing decade. Brain scans reveal the intricate timing of stages. Hormones and neurotransmitters rise and fall with each cycle, like bells ringing in ordered sequence. The more we learn, the more it becomes clear that sleep is not passive but active, not emptiness but construction. As you lie still, an entire architecture is being raised inside you, night after night, repairing, reshaping, and renewing the cathedral of your being. Now, as you imagine this architecture, notice how it mirrors other patterns in your life. Just as the cycles repeat, so too do your days. Waking, working, eating, resting, returning again to night. Seasons turn, breaths rise and fall, heartbeats pulse. The architecture of sleep is not separate from the architecture of existence. It is one more rhythm among the many that carry you through time. And so, when you next close your eyes, you can picture it. The cathedral, its arches vast, its stained glass glowing, its chambers echoing with silence. You walk its halls not once, but many times, each step restoring you, each chamber offering its gift. You are not falling into nothingness, but rising into structure, into design, into a place built for your renewal. And when morning comes, you step out not as one who has merely rested, but as one who has traveled the cathedral, gathered its offerings, and carried them back into waking life. The architecture remains within you, unseen yet steady, shaping how you feel, how you think, how you live. But even as this cathedral reveals its strength, another mystery waits beyond it, one not about walls or stages, but about what fills them. For if the architecture is the structure of sleep, then dreams are the colors painted upon it. And so the question stirs quietly. Once the cathedral is built, what stories begin to unfold inside its glowing chambers? Your breath is a bridge between wake and sleep. Slow inhales, slower exhales, gentle pauses, each calms your nervous system. With every cycle of air, your body drifts from tension into release. Here, you discover how breathing patterns quiet the mind's storm and soothe the body's currents. You are breathing now. Perhaps you don't notice it until you turn your attention inward, but your body has been carrying this rhythm since the very first moment of life. Breath is the most constant companion you will ever have. It is with you in joy, in sorrow, in movement, and in rest. When you prepare to sleep, breath becomes more than a background function. It becomes a guide. Notice how the inhale feels cool, how the exhale feels warmer. Each cycle is a tide, a miniature ocean moving in and out of you. And as the body readies itself for sleep, this ocean grows calmer, its waves stretching longer, its crashes softening into whispers. The slowing of breath is not accidental. It is a signal, one that tells your nervous system that the storm of the day can ease, that vigilance can be set aside. Your breath is a doorway into the autonomic nervous system, the invisible network that runs through you like a river. This system has two primary branches. One is sympathetic, the activator, the accelerator, the spark that readies you to run or fight. The other is parasympathetic, the calmer, the restorer, the gentle hand that places you back into stillness. These two branches dance continuously, adjusting your heartbeat, your digestion, your body temperature, even your immune response. But there is something remarkable here. You cannot easily choose your heart to slow, or your stomach to settle, or your immune system to defend more strongly. Yet you can choose your breath. Breath is the one strand of the autonomic system that can be held, stretched, sculpted. It is a lever. By lengthening your exhale, you pull this lever, and in doing so, you invite your parasympathetic branch to take the lead. Your heart rate slows, your muscles soften, your mind ease. Imagine this. With every out-breath, you are telling your body, it is safe now. You may rest, and the body listens. Slowly, the symphony of nerves rewrites itself into gentlest. Science shows this. Shift clearly. When you breathe slowly, especially when your exhale is longer than your inhale, the vagus nerve, a great wandering thread that connects your brain to your lungs, your heart, your gut, becomes activated. It sends a message upward. Pia, world is calm. We are not in danger. In response, your heart's rhythm steadies, your blood pressure lowers, your muscles release their grip. This is a parasympathetic release, a letting go that makes space for sleep. Consider the way animals rest. A cat stretches and then folds into a soft curl, its breathing deep and slow. A deer grazing in a meadow pauses, ears twitching, alert. At first, but when safety surrounds it, its breathing shifts, the chest rising less, the exhale lengthening, the body melting into the grass. You, too, are an animal with this ancient system. Breath is your language of safety, your way of telling. The body that the day's watchfulness can dissolve. Now bring awareness to your own inhale. Notice its lift, the way it fills your ribs, the gentle expansion in the chest. Hold for just a moment, then allow the exhale to release, longer, smoother, slower. Imagine this exhale as a river pouring tension out of you. The shoulders drop. The jaw softens. The belly loosens. Each slow breath writes a note in your nervous system's song of rest. There are patterns of breathing that science has studied carefully. One is often called coherent breathing. It is simple. Breathe in for about 5 seconds. Breathe out for about 5 seconds. Steady and continuous. About 6 breaths each minute. At this rhythm, the heart and lungs move in harmony, their signals aligning, their rhythms smoothing. Brain. Waves are quiet. Muscles untangle. You feel both grounded and light, as if gently floating yet anchored. Another pattern is even more tilted toward rest. Inhaling for 4 seconds, exhaling for 6 or 7. The longer out-breath deepens parasympathetic activation. Imagine it as leaning into the release, staying longer in the sigh. This pattern, practiced for a few minutes, can shift your body's chemistry. Cortisol, the stress hormone, decreases. Melatonin, the sleep hormone, finds its space to rise. The transition into sleep is no longer forced. It becomes invited. But perhaps the most meditative is the simplest, noticing breath as it already is, without control, without adjustment. You lie in bed, you place attention on the inhale. You follow it in, you follow it out. You notice spaces. In between, small pauses, natural hesitations. This attention is enough to quiet the spinning mind. Thoughts may still come, but they arrive more slowly, softened by the rhythm you observe. In this noticing, your body learns. I am here, I am safe, I am resting. This is why so many traditions, from yoga to meditation to prayer, have placed breath at the center of practice. Across centuries and cultures, humans have recognized that breath is not just biology. It is a bridge between the physical and the mental, between the conscious and the unconscious. When you sigh at the end of a long day, that is your body's instinctive attempt to reset its nervous system. When you gasp in surprise, that is the sympathetic system surging into alertness. When you hum softly or chant or speak in a slow rhythm, that is breath massaging the vagus nerve, soothing the body into calm. These are not random behaviors. They are biological rituals built into you. Now picture yourself lying in darkness. You are not trying to sleep. You are only breathing. Each inhale is a small beginning. Each exhale a completion. Around you, the room is quiet. Within you, body systems are listening, adjusting, recalibrating. Breath becomes the conductor, guiding organs, guiding cells, guiding thoughts toward stillness. The parasympathetic system does more than calm you. It begins a cascade of repair. Blood flows more generously to the gut, allowing digestion and nutrient absorption. The heart rests, conserving its strength. Muscles rebuild. The immune system patrols and heals. All of this depends on a nervous system that has been told, the danger has passed, you may release. And the telling is done, moment by moment, through the language of breath. You might imagine the sympathetic system as a bright flame, keeping you sharp, alert, ready. The parasympathetic system is the water that balances it, the cool stream that prevents the flame from consuming everything. Neither is wrong, both are necessary. But for sleep, for restoration, it is water you need most. And the stream begins with how you breathe. Think of your body as an instrument. Breath is the tuning fork. If you rush, the strings tighten, the sound grows harsh. If you slow, the tension releases and the notes align. The nervous system, once tuned, allows every process, memory, immunity, healing, to play in harmony. Some nights, sleep does not come easily. The mind spins, the body holds on to the day. In those moments, breath is a tool. You cannot force the mind to be silent, but you can breathe. You can give your nervous system a signal stronger than thought. With each cycle, you invite rest to return. There is tenderness in this. You realize that you need not battle with your body for sleep. You need only cooperate with it, to whisper to it through breath, to guide it gently toward what it already knows how to do. And as you practice this night after night, breath becomes not just a function, not just survival. It becomes a ritual. The lights dim, you settle beneath your blanket, and your first slow exhale is the signal. The journey inward begins now. Breath is not the end of the story, though. It is only the beginning of letting go. As your body calms, as your nervous system loosens its grip, you are being prepared for the deeper work of sleep. Your brain will soon enter its tides, its cycles of repair and dreaming. Your muscles will sink into their most profound release. Breath has brought you to the gate. Beyond it lies the architecture of sleep itself. What you eat and when you eat teaches your body when to rest. A late meal can keep your system alert, while gentle fasting creates space for repair. In the rhythm of nourishment and pause, you hear echoes of nature's own cycles. Your body listens always to these quiet cues of timing and fuel. You may not think of food when you think of sleep. Sleep feels like silence, a withdrawal from the busy act of living, while food is abundance, flavor, energy. Yet the two are braided together in ways so deep and ancient that to separate them would be to deny how your body truly works. The meals you eat the timing of each bite, the long stretches where you let the body rest from digestion. All of it becomes part of your nighttime story. Sleep and food are not separate streams. They are rivers that flow into one another, shaping the land of your body, the rhythms of your days, and the softness of your nights. Think of your body as a garden. Sunlight, water, and soil must come in balance. Too much of one, not enough of another, and the growth changes flowers. Wither, roots straying. In you, food is the soil. It nourishes, it anchors, it provides material from which every cell is built. Sleep is the water. It allows the soil to settle, the roots to draw what they need, the blossoms to unfold. Without sleep, food cannot become renewed. Without food, sleep cannot nourish repair. They are partners, not opposites. During the day, your body is like a bustling market. Energy surges, glucose rises, hormones keep pace with activity. At night, that market closes, stalls fold away, lamps dim. Yet imagine if, just as the market tries to rest, carts keep arriving with new goods to unload. The system must stir again. Workers must stay awake. Lights must flicker back on. This is what happens when a heavy meal arrives too late at night. Digestion, though quiet to your awareness, is labor for your body. The stomach churns, acids rise, the small intestine stirs awake. Enzymes begin their microscopic choreography. The liver, that deep alchemist, must filter nutrients, sugars, fats. Blood flows to the gut instead of sinking into deep muscle repair. Sleep is not broken entirely, but it is lighter, more fragmented, as though your night has become half wakeful. Science has traced this truth in quiet experiments. Volunteers who eat close to bedtime tend to take longer to fall asleep. Their REM cycles shorten, their dreams become fewer. Their slow-wave sleep, the stage where the body repairs tissues and strengthens immunity, weakens. A simple bowl of food eaten at the wrong hour reshapes the cathedral of rest. You may wake in the morning with heaviness, not because the meal itself was wrong, but because its timing pulled your body out of its natural rhythm. This rhythm is older than you. It is written in the rising and setting of the sun, in the way light tells your body when to wake, when to sleep. Food, too, becomes part of that clock. Scientists call it time-restricted feeding, but the phrase hides a gentle truth. Your body loves predictability. Like a child soothed by a bedtime story, your metabolism rests easier when meals arrive in familiar windows. When you eat with the sun, larger meals earlier, lighter meals before evening, your internal clock, the circadian rhythm, feels harmonious. Hormones like insulin, cortisol, and melatonin find balance. Cells repair themselves with more clarity. The night feels like night again, instead of an extension of the day. Yet fasting, the art of not eating, holds its own wisdom. You may think of fasting as deprivation, but your body does not see it that way. In stillness, in the pause between meals, entire systems come alive. Autophagy, a process where cells clean themselves, begins to unfold. Old proteins, damaged structures, fragments that clutter the body's inner space, all are broken down, recycled, given new form. In fasting, the body becomes a craftsman, repairing, refining, choosing what to keep and what to release. This is not suffering. This is renewal. At night, when you fast naturally and sleep, this repair deepens. If your last meal ended hours before bed, your body has already shifted from digestion into restoration. Blood sugar is stable, insulin is low, growth hormone whispers through tissues, encouraging repair. Your liver frees itself from immediate work and begins storing energy for tomorrow. Even your brain joins the pause. During sleep, glial cells, the caretakers of the mind, wash away toxins with cerebrospinal fluid like a tide rinsing a beach. Food absent, cleansing begins. Picture yourself as part of the wider natural world. Animals follow these rhythms without thinking. The bear eats and eats before winter, then rests for months in quiet fasting, its body sustained by reserves, its tissues kept whole through the wisdom of pause. A bird eats insects in the morning and quiets as dusk falls, never breaking the pattern. The plants themselves fast each night. Photosynthesis halted in darkness, storing energy until dawn. You too are shaped from this same pattern. You may resist it with midnight snacks, glowing screens, endless cups of coffee, but underneath, your biology still craves the simple alternation. Feed and fast, wake and sleep. Of course, food itself has a voice in sleep. Some foods whisper calm, while others bring subtle disturbance. A heavy portion of sugar close to night can send insulin climbing, heart beating faster, energy swirling at the very time your body longs for stillness. High-fat meals can slow digestion, leaving your stomach restless, your sleep fragmented. Caffeine, even if taken in the afternoon, lingers like an unwelcome guest, blocking the adenosine that builds sleepiness, delaying your descent into rest. Alcohol, though it may seem to soothe at first, scatters the cycles of sleep, giving with one hand and taking with the other. Yet nature also provides gentle allies. Warm milk contains tryptophan, a precursor to serotonin, later shaped into melatonin. Nuts and seeds carry magnesium, a mineral that softens muscles and calms nerves. Herbal teas, chamomile, valerian, passion flower do not force sleep, but nudge the nervous system toward rest, like a friend guiding you slowly to a quieter room. Even the ritual of tea, the warmth of the cup, the steam rising, becomes part of the body's memory of slowing down. You begin to see how food is not only energy, not only survival, but timing, chemistry, ritual. A late heavy dinner may push the night away, while an earlier lighter one may cradle it closer. A body allowed to rest from digestion finds its deeper work, repair, memory, dream, and there is something more. Beyond science, beyond cycles, food is also culture, comfort, story. A shared dinner with family may stretch late, yet nourish your spirit in ways no experiment can measure. A small snack before bed may carry the memory of childhood. A cookie, a fruit, a ritual of comfort. These too shape rest, not through hormones, but through meaning. Sleep listens not only to molecules, but to emotion. If you go to bed comforted, safe, your sleep softens even if the science is imperfect. The body, wise as it is, holds both truths at once. As you lie in bed, you may feel the echoes of your last meal still within you. Perhaps there is fullness, perhaps there is lightness. Over time, you notice the pattern. Nights when you eat early, sleep deepens. Nights when food lingers late, dreams scatter. Slowly, you learn to honor not rules, but rhythms. Your body is not a machine. It is a tide, a pulse, a cycle, a living clock made of countless smaller clocks, all listening to when you eat, when you pause, when you rest. So you begin to imagine. What if each meal were part of your day's song, each pause part of its silence? Breakfast greeting the morning sun. Lunch gathers your strength at midday. Dinner, lighter, earlier, a gentle close of the body's market stalls. And then, the long fast of night, not emptiness, but fullness of another kind, where sleep and repair are the true nourishment. The science is clear, but so is the poetry. To eat is to mark time. To fast is to let time soften. To sleep is to allow both to join, weaving your body into balance. Food does not stand apart from rest. It is one more verse in the lullaby, one more rhythm in the music of your nights. And as you let this truth settle into you, you realize something deeper, that the body, even in stillness, even in fasting, is never idle. It is always working, always restoring, always listening. To the food you eat, to the silence between meals, to the rising and falling of light, to the breath that carries you inward. You are not separate from these cycles. You are part of them. Food teaches you not only how to live, but how to rest. And sleep teaches you not only how to pause, but how to begin again. Screens that glow, worries that linger, caffeine that hums too long in the blood, each one a thief of night. They arrive softly, not as storms, but as whispers, subtle forces that delay your rest. Yet when seen clearly, these enemies lose their power. You learn the art of guarding your sleep with gentle rituals, with kindness instead of struggle. Night is delicate. It is a space built of shadows and softness, of signals that rise and fall inside your body like tides, of rhythms older than language. Yet within this delicate world, small disruptions can slip quietly inside. They do not roar like thunder. They do not slam at your door. Instead, they creep in softly, a late message glowing on a screen, a thought replayed again and again, a cup of coffee taken hours too late. These are the quiet enemies of sleep. You know them well, though you may not always see them clearly. Think of your body as a garden. Sleep is the bloom that rises when the soil is nourished, when the air is still, when the roots rest safely in the dark. But weeds can grow here too. Some are bright and alluring, like the glow of a device that keeps you scrolling. Others are invisible, like caffeine humming silently through your bloodstream. And some are within the soil itself, worries and stresses, thoughts that twist like tangled roots. Each of these, in its own way, steals from the bloom of your night. Begin with the glow of screens. Your eyes, ancient and wise, evolved beneath the rhythm of sunlight and starlight. For millions of years, your body only knew two signals, the golden blaze of day and the deep indigo of night. Then, not long ago in the scale of human history, a new kind of light appeared, blue, bright, and untiring. The screens you hold. In your hand, the lamps on your desk, the television glowing across the room. They shine with wavelengths that mimic the morning sun. When you gaze at a screen in the late hours, your brain cannot tell the difference. It believes morning has returned. And so, the hormone melatonin, which normally rises like a tide at night to ease you toward sleep, is delayed. The gentle curtain of drowsiness is held back, replaced with alertness. You may feel awake, but it is a false dawn, one that tricks your circadian rhythm out of its natural song. Imagine your internal rhythm as a flock of birds flying together across a sky. Blue light scatters them. They lose their direction, circling and colliding until the flock no longer moves as one. That is what happens within your body. Hormones and signals, scattered and confused. You may have felt this yourself. A late night spent scrolling leaves you restless, not only when you try to sleep, but also the next morning when your body's rhythm is still unsettled. You rise groggy, as though you have crossed time zones without leaving your room. This is why scientists sometimes call screens social jet lag. They shift your inner clock, even when the world outside has not moved. Yet knowledge itself is soft power. When you see the effect clearly, you can shape your environment differently. A dimmer light, a warmer glow, the choice to place your phone away from your bed. These become quiet rituals of protection. You are not fighting the enemy with force. You are simply refusing its invitation. Then there is caffeine, another quiet thief. It is not villainous by design. In fact, caffeine is a friend in the morning, a gentle stimulant that sharpens the mind. But like any friend, it must know its limits. Caffeine works by blocking adenosine, a chemical in your brain that builds throughout the day. Think of adenosine as a weight, slowly pressing upon you, whispering of rest. The longer you stay awake, the heavier the weight becomes. Caffeine does not remove this weight. It only hides it, placing a veil between you and your body's signal. The weight is still there, waiting. When the caffeine fades, you feel it all. At once, often heavier than before. And if caffeine lingers too late into the evening, it masks the natural call of sleep. Your body wants to lower into the night, but the gate is blocked. Half-lives tell the story. Caffeine lingers in the bloodstream for hours, often 6, sometimes even longer, depending on your metabolism. A coffee at 4 p.m. can still hum through your system at 10 p.m., keeping your body falsely alert. You may lie down and close your eyes, but beneath your skin, the stimulant remains. This is not said to be forbidden. Rather, it is an invitation to observe. When do you sip your last cup? What happens when you bring it earlier in the day, or choose a gentler tea at night instead? You are not commanded, only guided to notice the patterns of your own body, the way caffeine can either support your rhythm or scatter it. And then there is perhaps the quietest enemy of all, the mind that will not still. Worries, memories, lists of tasks undone. They appear not with sound, but with repetition. Like waves that will not stop crashing, they come again and again, filling the mind with noise, even as the body grows heavy. Here lies a paradox. The more you fight such thoughts, the stronger they become. To push them away is to give them energy. But to notice them, to watch them without judgment, is to loosen their grip. This is the art of letting the nervous system release, the gentle practice of awareness that neither clings nor rejects. Science, too, reveals why the mind clings at night. In the quiet, without new input from the day, the brain turns inward. Networks of memory and imagination light up, sometimes stronger than in wakefulness. The default mode network, as scientists call it, becomes a stage for reflection. That is why worries feel louder, why stories replay themselves. The mind has fewer distractions, and so it wanders into its own maze. But you can build gentle rituals to meet this maze. A journal by your bedside to capture thoughts. A slow breath to ground you in the body. A practiced phrase whispered within, not now, but tomorrow. These are not acts of suppression. They are acts of kindness, allowing the mind to rest, without demanding silence. Beyond screens, caffeine, and worry, there are other subtle enemies too. The hum of noise outside your window, the heat of a room too warm, the clutter of a space that does not feel restful. Each seems small, but together, they shape the landscape of your sleep. Remember, night is delicate. Every detail becomes a thread in its tapestry. Yet the story of enemies is not a story of fear. It is a story of recognition. To see clearly is to regain power. Once you notice how each thief arrives, you can guide them gently away. Darkness can be made darker. Noise can be softened. Thoughts can be placed upon paper instead of upon your heart. Sleep does not ask for perfection. It asks only for care. Like tending a fire, you need only shield the flame from wind, clear the space of debris, and allow the warmth to rise. In the same way, you guard your night not with force, but with intention. You begin to see that each enemy, once understood, becomes a teacher. The glowing screen reminds you of the value of darkness. The hum of caffeine reminds you of the body's natural weight toward rest. The restless thought reminds you of the art of letting go. Each one, once an obstacle, now points the way, and so you walk more gently into the night. You do not banish, you do not fight. You simply shape your environment so sleep can return to its natural bloom. You understand that enemies grow quiet when you stop feeding them with attention. In this quiet, sleep comes more easily, more deeply, like water flowing once stones are lifted from its path. And as the water flows, you wonder, what else, beyond these quiet enemies, supports your rest more deeply still? Sleep is both a gift and a practice, a nightly devotion, soft as candlelight. Like tending a hidden garden, each ritual you weave shapes the soil of your dreams. Through light, breath, stillness, and care, you guide yourself toward deeper renewal. In this practice, you discover that rest is not only the pause of life, but the pulse of living itself. Rest is not accidental. It is not something that tumbles into your hands, nor is it only the sudden weight that pulls your eyelids shut when the body is exhausted. True rest, the kind that nourishes you, the kind that renews you, is a practice. It is like a delicate art, an act of quiet creation that unfolds each night. And you are the artist, shaping your own canvas of sleep. You may think of sleep as a gift from the body, and in many ways, it is. But gifts can be lost if they are not cared for, if the conditions for receiving them are ignored. Imagine leaving a garden without water, without trimming, without care. Nature may still surprise you with blossoms, but the soil hardens, weeds tangle, and the flowers are fewer, more fragile. Sleep works the same way. The body may force itself into slumber when fatigue is strong enough, but the quality, the richness, the depth of rest depends on the tending you bring to it. And so we speak of practice. A practice of preparing, of softening, of weaving small. Rituals that tell your body, your mind, your nervous system, it is time to let go. Think of the day as a great river. All through your waking hours, you are swimming, paddling, sometimes fighting against the current. By evening, you arrive at the river's edge, dripping with the weight of the hours, still buzzing with the energy of tasks, words, screens, and thoughts. If you step straight from that current into the silence of sleep, the body does not always know how to follow. The river still churns inside you. Your mind replays conversations. Your muscles echo with tension. To step into rest requires building a gentle shoreline, a place of slowing, a place of surrender. One way you practice this is with light. Light is the language of your circadian rhythm, the ancient clock that ticks within each cell. In the morning, sunlight tells your body to awaken, releasing cortisol like a dawn trumpet. At night, darkness invites melatonin, a hormone like a lullaby. Yet modern life fills evenings with screens, lamps, and glowing rectangles. The nervous system, confused by this artificial day, delays its release, keeps you alert, keeps you suspended. The practice begins when you honor darkness. Dim the lamps an hour before sleep. Step away from the screen's glow when you can, or soften it with filters and warm tones. Light a candle if you wish, a small flame that flickers like the ancient fires your ancestors knew. By doing so, you are not just creating an atmosphere. You are whispering to your body in the language of time. It is night. It is safe. It is time to rest. Then comes the breath. You already carry the most powerful tool for rest within you. Breath is the bridge between conscious will and automatic rhythm. Each slow inhale brings a tide of life. Each exhale tells the nervous system to release. In the practice of perfecting rest, you may pause to sit on your bed and breathe, not forcing, not counting too rigidly, but noticing. A deep, gentle inhale, a longer, slower exhale. The balance tips toward calm. The parasympathetic nervous system awakens, like a hand resting on your heart, saying, "You may let go now." Stillness follows breath, yet stillness is not the absence of movement. It is the art of softening into presence. Your body may need a stretch. Before stillness, like a cat arching before it curls to sleep. Your mind may need a journal beside the bed, a place to set down the leftover voices of the day. Think of this as clearing a table before you sit to eat. Stillness is not forced emptiness. It is the gentle clearing that allows you to be with yourself, unburdened. Then comes care. The care of your sleep environment is more than luxury. It is architecture for your night. A room that is too warm tells the body it is still day. A room that is too noisy startles you into shallow rest. But when you create coolness, darkness, and quiet, you build a cathedral for sleep. The pillow supports you like an old friend. The blanket wraps you in safety. Even scent, lavender, cedar, chamomile, becomes a silent guide into slumber. Each of these details whispers, you are home, you are safe, you may sink into the depths. And so, little by little, you craft a ritual. Not a rigid one, not another task to check off, but a flow that meets you each evening. You brush your teeth, a familiar rhythm. You dim the lights, you breathe, you stretch, you write, you soften. Each action is a stone placed on the path. Toward sleep, a path that your body learns to follow with greater ease each night. Science supports these rituals with clarity. Studies show that consistency in sleep and waking times stabilizes your circadian rhythm, leading to more efficient deep sleep. Research on mindfulness demonstrates that breath practices reduce nighttime cortisol, making it easier to fall asleep. Even the arrangement of your room, from temperature to light, shapes the signals your hypothalamus receives about when to release melatonin. What seems like a soft ritual is, in fact, a biological dialogue with your own cells. And yet, beyond science, there is something more subtle. There is the feeling, the art of tending yourself, not as a machine, but as a garden, a living landscape that deserves care. When you approach sleep with reverence, it becomes more than an obligation. It becomes communion. Each night is a return to the self, a reunion with the silent places within you. But remember, practice is not perfection. Some nights, despite ritual, sleep may resist you. The mind may churn. The body may ache. The hours may slip by. Do not treat these nights as failures. They, too, are part of the practice. Just as a musician does not abandon the piano after one wrong note, you do not abandon rest after one restless night. You return. You trust. You try again. Over time, the body learns. The nervous system adapts. The cycles strengthen. The art of rest is not built in a single evening, but across weeks, months, years. The reward is not only in the night itself. The reward blooms in your waking hours. When sleep is tended, mornings arrive with clarity. Mood stabilizes, memory sharpens, resilience deepens. You do not drag yourself through the hours. You walk through them awake, present, alive. Sleep is the invisible half of living, unseen but essential to the shape of who you are. So you return to the idea, sleep is both a gift and a practice. The gift comes freely, like rain falling on a meadow. The practice is your part, clearing the soil, planting the seeds, preparing the ground. Together, gift and practice create the harvest of rest. You may close your eyes tonight and think of it as tending a lantern. You prepare the wick, you shield it from wind, you light it gently. Then you let the flame glow on its own, flickering into the darkness. Your body is that lantern. Your sleep is the flame. With care, it burns steady, warm, and bright through the night. And as you lie in that darkness, you may notice the practice of rest is also the practice of life. For every breath, every pause, every letting go teaches you not only how to sleep, but how to live more softly, more fully. Sleep is not separate from waking. It is the root that nourishes the branches of your day. And so you rest, not perfectly, but faithfully, not as escape, but as return. You surrender tonight, trusting that your body knows the way back to stillness. You release, you drift, you enter the vast cathedral of your own inner world. And there, in that sanctuary, you discover the practice of perfecting rest is also the practice of becoming whole. And so, dear friend, our quiet journey tonight comes to a close. We have wandered through the science of sleep, its rhythms, its hidden architecture, its gentle power to restore. And we have touched the practices that help you welcome rest. The breath, the stillness, the simple rituals that whisper to your body. It is safe to let go. Remember, perfecting sleep is not about perfection at all. It is about practice, small, steady choices that open the door to deeper rest. Night after night. If these reflections brought you comfort, I invite you to share this space with others. Gently press like to let me know. Leave a comment with your own thoughts or experiences, and share this video with someone who may be seeking the same calm. And if you wish to return here again, to continue exploring science in the soft light of story, do subscribe. Together, we can keep building this nightly sanctuary. For now, allow your eyes to soften, your breath to slow, and your body to surrender to the quiet it has been waiting for. The story of tonight ends here, but your journey into rest is only beginning.